Your crew respects your ability to do the work, but do they respect your leadership ability? If not, your business is doomed. I want to tell you a story about a guy named Joe. Now, Joe's a contractor. He's been in the GC game for 20 years, but Joe's never been able to cross 7 figures. He's always been stuck. And when Joe came to us, we had a conversation, and the conversation sure was about growing, and it was about leads, and it was about opportunities, all of which in his area where he lives, Idaho, super abundant, right? The problem is that Joe can't seem to get the right people around him. He's set up a hiring process, right? He's got his core values. He's got all these things in place. But the problem with Joe is he doesn't understand the difference between a leader and a manager. Now, I want you to think back when you were an employee, back when you were working for XYZ company. It could have been in the trade space. It could have been somewhere else. Maybe you were flipping burgers at McDonald's. I don't know. I can tell you from my own personal experience, the worst thing is having somebody tell you what to do, is having somebody correct you all the time, is having somebody constantly hovering over your shoulder. Nobody likes that. And yet, because that's what we think we have to do as a leader, we end up doing that with our people, which is why morale is low, which is why nobody wants to show up early and stay late, which is why people are always looking for the next opportunity, which is why, more importantly, nobody on your team respects you. Nobody likes a manager. People are looking for a leader. So I want you to think for a minute. If you were to define what a leader is, what would you say that a leader is? If you were to define what a manager is, what would you say that a manager is? What about the good and the bad aspects of both? I'll tell you this. Your team will follow your example. So if you're the guy who's constantly telling people what to do, when you start to bring leaders into your organization, guess what they're going to do? The exact same thing. Tell people what to do, right? Now, whose job is it to create a culture where everybody has the opportunity to rise up? Well, that's right. That's you, the owner of the business. Before we do that, though, I want to define the difference between a leader and a manager. So what is a leader? Well, at its core, a leader does 3 things and only 3 things. This is not a conversation about all the hats you're wearing, okay? But truly, purely, if you are only a leader in your organization, this is what you do. Number 1, the vision. Think of yourself as a captain of the ship. Who determines where the ship goes? Right? The captain's not out there rowing the boat, right? He's not on the steering wheel or whatever they call the damn thing on a ship, right? He is telling you this is where we're going to go, right? Guiding the vision, the direction of the company. So as a leader, number 1, where is this company going? Think about that. Have you ever had a conversation with your employees and talked to them about where you're taking this ship? Do they know that you want to sell it in 10 years? Do they know that they have the opportunity to buy it out? Do they know that you're going to sell this to your kids or hand it off to your kids? Do they know what's happening with the business? Because if they don't, there's no direction. And how do they get bought into that, right? You think about all the conquerors, you talk about the Vikings or the Spaniards or even the pirates, right? Why were people wanting to get on those ships? Because there was a direction that they were going. They had a mission. They had a purpose that they could get behind. Okay, so number 1 as a leader is the vision. Number 2 is the core values, i.e., who are we as a company? You can be a painter, a plumber, an electrician, a GC. That's great. But who are you as a company? What do you value? Inside of my business, my number 1 core value, I should say across all of our businesses, number 1 is have fun. Literally, we were running a workshop here yesterday, and I'm running around without my shoes on. I had some new shoes and they were uncomfortable, right? So I had them in my office. I'm running around with no shoes on. I've got clients coming in, right? Employees here. And people are laughing about the fact that I don't have shoes on. Of course, I am too. We just started live streaming, which has been nothing short of hilarious because it's not working the way that we want it to work. But it's something that we laugh about. In the middle of a presentation, I'm up there trying to adjust a camera, right? but it's part of our culture. It's who we are. I want people to know that they can come in here and they can have a good time. Are we going to work? Yes, but we're going to have a good time, right? Core values. Now, of course, we have some other core values inside of there, right? Number one is do what you said you're going to do. Okay. So like my job is not to tell you what to do. We're going to come to an agreement on what you're going to commit to. And then I'm going to hold you accountable to that. Not because I told you to do it, but because you committed to it, right? Huge difference. We have another one, go the extra mile. I want you to find opportunities where you can do a little bit extra or you can go a little bit beyond. Something outside of maybe your scope of work or your job description. I'm not paid to do that. No, maybe you're not paid to open the door for Mrs. Jones. But how cool is it if you would, right? Maybe you're not paid to get to the job a little early and clean up the mess from the last sub. But maybe you do because that's going the extra mile. Does that make sense? So number one, vision. Number two, core values. And number three, hey contractors, let me tell you something real quick. A lot of contractors struggle because the business they created has them feeling stuck. If you feel trapped inside of your contracting business, still wearing all the hats and can't seem to get ahead, well, we'd love to help. We're offering a free planning session where we'll show you how to remove the chaos from your business and grow predictably. If you're interested, you need to go to our website, www.americancontractornetwork.com, and book your free session now. All right, that's it for me. Let's get back to the show. And number three, resources, right? As an employee, all you're thinking about is, I got a job to do. Do I have the tools to get them done? That's what you're thinking about. What do you want me to do? And then what tools do I need to get it done? When I was working as a police officer, super cool. We had all kinds of tools, right? A car with lights and sirens. We had stop sticks, handcuffs, pepper spray, right? Taser. We had all these things, right? How much harder would my job have been if I didn't have any of those things, right? Riding around on a squeaky bike. Stop. Like, not going to work, right? So as a contractor, your people need tools. Again, vehicles, they're going to need trade-specific tools, right? They might need a laptop or access to some type of scheduling software on their phones or time management. Like, there's all these different tools. Your job is to provide those resources, right? And for me, those resources always fall into one of three buckets: money, manpower, materials, right? Those three things. What do your people need to get the job done? Now, think about this for a minute. We haven't even gone to a manager yet. Think about this for a minute. How well are you acting like the leader of your organization? Vision, culture, resources. Do I want you to feel bad right now? Maybe a little bit, because I want you to notice that you're not doing all the things that you should be doing to get the results that you want to get. Yeah, reality check. Now, I don't want you to get stuck there, right? This is not about making you feel sad. This is about punching you in the gut a little bit, reality check, and then what do we need to do about it? Before we do though, what is a manager's job? A manager's job simply is to take those resources and then tell people what to do, right? Think about the difference between the two. Would you rather have a leader or would you rather have a manager? One of the best things that you can do, and this is a term that I've used and I've heard over the years, military, police work, they use it a lot. Lead from the front. Lead from the front. What does that mean? That means I'm showing you, I'm not telling you. That means I would never ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do. Now, that doesn't mean that you get on the job and you put on your tool belt and you like show these guys how you can re-roof a roof faster than they can. There's going to be times where you are going to have to jump on the roof and help them out, right? But be the guy who's willing to do that, the leader that's willing to do that. And they know at the back of their mind, hey, if we're behind or if we're stuck or if we don't know how to do something, we can call the boss and he will show up and he will lead us. Versus, man, that guy never shows up. He's never here. We're just going to do whatever we're going to do. Or I hate this other guy because he's always telling us what to do. Does that make sense? So understand the difference between a leader and a manager and ask yourself the question, how do I become a better leader? That's what this whole game is about. Becoming a better leader. A true leader trains other leaders. A true leader creates an environment of accountability where people want that, right? When I was working as a police officer, one of the things that we were able to do was train additional leaders. Like that was one of the best things about what I did. I was a supervisor over an organized crime squad. And what I really wanted for the people on my team was to also promote and become leaders. And so when they would run their cases, I would ask them, well, what do you think we should do? Well, who do you think we should use for that? Well, what direction do you think this should go? Versus, you need to use that person, you need to do this, and you need to do that. Huge difference. So what's the payoff? What's the payoff for you creating an environment where leadership exists versus management? Well, think about this. Number one, and most importantly, team cohesiveness. It doesn't mean that things are always going to go the way you want them to go. But what it means is the team knows that you have their best interest in mind. And so they're willing to forgive and they're willing to forget and they're willing to go that extra mile. Number two, less loss on jobs, lost time, lost money, lost materials, right? Because people are now accountable. Not only do they have what they need to get the job done, but they know that they're accountable for getting it done. And number three, that's going to drive profit and growth for your business. So my challenge to you is stop acting like a boss and start acting like a leader. Lead your people where you want them to go instead of telling them where you want them to go. All right. You know what to do. If you want to be part of our community and learn what it means to be a leader, we'd love to have you. But more than anything, it's time for you to start acting like a leader. 3, 2, 1, off you go. Thanks for listening to the Success Unleashed podcast. Before we go, show some love for your favorite podcast by liking, subscribing, and leaving us a review. Until we see you again, it's time to get after it.